Drevin's death was merely a setback. Hey everyone, Disaster here, and I wanted to bring to you my Sanlayn speculation video. I worked with my Sanlayn Discord to come up with some of the ideas that we've got in terms of what's the future for the Sanlayn. And yeah, so let's get right into it. Alrighty, first topic, Tristans Face. So those on the Sanlayn Discord have done some exploring, looking around for the body. Where is it? Where could it be? So it's nowhere to be found, actually. We've deep dived on the Horde side of the scenario. We haven't been able to find it. And you see Chandris leaving it there. She's standing right on top of it. But then you see the ship on the Horde side in the distance burning. And, where's the body? This would be after Chandris have left and the Alliance have fled. So I've got some screenshots that you'll see while I talk about this, of course. So, and then there's, of course, a big Imgur album that I have that it goes into more detail about it and the speculation, but I'll talk about the three actual scenarios here. The Alliance has taken the body to destroy. Now, there's no mention of this, there's no evidence of this. We don't see this on the Alliance or Horde side. The Horde have taken the body to resurrect. Problem, again, there's no mention of it, there's no evidence of it. But we do know that the Blood Council fight resurrects the Blood Princes, Lanathel with a blood orb, and Naxxtar is merely a setback, which is going to be a recurring theme in this video. But anyway, so we already know that they can be resurrected, so if the Horde did in fact take the body, and we find out later, there could be some big plans, but no evidence. The most likely scenario, though, is that the body is lost at sea. It wasn't mentioned on either side, and it can't be found. So it could be a case of Blizzard leaving this open-ended to never return to again, or it could be open-ended so that the story can continue as they see fit. Hopefully it's the latter, because obviously Sanlayn, awesome, we want them. Alright, next topic is Drevin's origins. So the Bats and I were talking about basically where he could have come from. So Drevin's death means very little in the grand scheme of things, in our opinion, and, Drevin's death is merely a setback. Like I said, recurring theme. Come on, it's too fun to say. Anyway, so there are two possibilities here. Drevin could have existed in Wrath as a Blood Prince never mentioned, but that would mean that there's still two missing Blood Princes, Atheran and Thraldus, and we see them in the Grizzly Hills questline, resurrecting that Worgen guy, I think. So that shows that that would mean, that we have not seen all of the Sanlayn forces in Wrath. After all, again, we only saw two of those Blood Princes in a flashback. Where have they been? We have absolutely no idea. Therefore, there is an entirely unknown number of Sanlayn prowling about somewhere. What could they have been up to for, an unknown amount of years, Could have been doing some really nasty stuff. And then the second, which would also be very interesting, would be Drevin is a new Blood Prince. And this one, and for me personally, it'd make the most sense. So he was never once mentioned in Wrath, so I feel like they would have created a new Blood Prince for this scenario, having used one of the old ones. And I think that one of the missing Blood Princes could have turned him, either Atheran or Thraldus, whatever they're doing. Or a new Blood King or Queen could have turned him. So we don't know where they're coming from, where he came from. Is he the one making the neophytes? Is there another one making the neophytes, And then Blood Princess Thelena, she came out of nowhere, and apparently still had existed in Wrath, though. She was only a boss in Legion, and some people say that she was only a callback, but she's stated to be as Lanathel's daughter, and she is a Sanlayn, so she would have had to have been turned in Wrath, but she was never mentioned, obviously, in Wrath, because she's a new character that had been created, so... one would still make a lot of sense in that case. Either one of these possibilities is huge, and hopefully we'll find out about Drevin's origin soon, because there's no way that the story can be over. Alrighty, so the next topic on our list is the rest of the army. So, we see a lot of times mentioned the fact that there is new Sanlayn and the worry that Drevin is creating new Sanlayn, and we do see those said new Sanlayn in the form of neophytes. Now, the definition of a neophyte is a new initiate, a new convert, which, convert turning into Sanlayn, kind of suspicious there. That particular wording is important. So, it would make very little sense for such a powerful ally to put every asset on one ship, or even two ships. Every single one of those Sanlayn, all of them are on that ship, that entire army. It just, to me, that's ridiculous. Sanlayn, Sylvanas is trying to fight a pragmatic battle here, and Sanlayn are very powerful forces. I mean, one would think, especially since the Alliance are so concerned about this, that they're not going to have every single force on the ship. So I discount that whole Sanlayn have all been killed off, because I don't believe for a second that every last Sanlayn has been slain. That doesn't make sense. So number 2. The rest of the Sanlayn, I predict, are biding their time with this mysterious new Blood King or Queen. Whoever turned Revan is still out there and still making converts. So I could be one of the missing Blood Princes, and they could be called upon when they're needed, probably in the upcoming war fronts. Well, possibly. I know one of our Discord members really wants to see them in the new upcoming war front, so that'd be pretty neat to see them fighting beside Forsaken, right? And then I believe that they're going to gain a redemption story, kind of like the Forsaken and the Death Knights. And here's a little bit of a spoiler, so skip over this part if you don't want to be spoiled for a little tad bit of broadcast text. So, Sylvanas says to Talanji after the naval forces are destroyed that she still has a place in the Horde, despite Talanji's worries that, oh, well, the Navy forces are destroyed, so do we not have a place anymore? Well, no. Sylvanas said that they're going to stay true to their allies. So while there's been a lot of debate as to the morality of Sylvanas, I think this particular choice is very interesting. And it could give a good hint as to the other possible races that could join the Horde. Outcast races that need a place, need a faction. Very good thing for Sanlayn, I think. Moving on to a particularly hot topic in the Sanlayn debate is Draven's betrayal. Now, I don't think that this is going to hinder the chance of Sanlayn officially joining the Horde as an allies race eventually. Hopefully, anyway. So, have we not seen that one leader does not represent the rest? If that were the case, orcs would be banished from the Horde a long time ago. Garrosh and his whole nonsense. Besides, Draven is merely an emissary. So, and then we have to look into why he attacked the Forsaken. Did he attack them in a way that, oh, I was totally planning on betraying them this entire time? No. He attacked the Forsaken troops out of desperation. And where have we seen this before? Well, Sylvanas bombed her own troops when the Undercity was being attacked. They were all going to die anyway, and it was a pragmatic decision. And I feel like Draven made the same ideological choice in this situation. And that if Sylvanas ever did find out, which is doubtful because there were no survivors on that ship, then, well, who's she going to listen to, by the way? Chandra's? Yeah. But she's done it to her own troops before, so I really don't see it as a problem. Again, desperation. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Jeez. And then Nathanos specified that the mission was an overall success, meaning yes, he did do his job correctly. He is in Draven. Which seals the point mentioned above. So the Horde did end up getting what they had come for, which was that corpse. The corpse had been that entire mission. They had been wanting to get that corpse, and the Sanlayn acted as a distraction point. So, in reality, they did pretty much prove themselves and put up quite a fight. Alrighty, another interesting topic. If we do get a new Blood King or Blood Queen, what are they going to be? So, I believe that we're going to find out Draven's origin soon, hopefully anyway. And it's going to be a new Blood King or Blood Queen, so bear with me. The Blood Princes might have the ability to make new Sanlayn, but we know for a fact that Lanathel really can. So, it's been talked about that the Blood Princes, like Draven, has been working to make Sanlayn. Okay, but what if he's working with a new Blood King or Blood Queen? We don't know for a fact, we haven't seen it personally, that the Blood Princes can make new Sanlayn. It would make sense based on what we've seen and what people have talked about, but we don't know. So, I think that there could be a new Blood King or Blood Queen running about. I predict it's going to be either Atheran or Thoraldis. Somehow they ascended into kinghood. Who knows how they have? Gathered power maybe by drinking the blood of a ton of people? Who knows? But that Blood Princess, Thelena, did come out of nowhere. And so, they might come up with a new Blood King or Blood Queen. But we didn't get much of an expansion of lore. And speaking of her, by the way, one of the other predictions is that we're going to rescue Thelena from Violet Hold and Dalaran, like a scenario sort of thing to do that for working with a Sanlayn, and resurrect her that way. Her lore really isn't expanded upon. We don't know that she's dead for sure. I mean, we killed her as a dungeon boss, yeah, but people said, oh, well, we only kill 3 of those bosses, or, a certain number, some of them were left alive, but I don't think that that's really that viable. I don't think that we're going to return to that character other than to maybe expand upon her lore, but I think that she's finished in terms of her being there in the story, other than maybe, you know, callbacks and mentions, and in terms of that sort of expanded lore. And then I had one crazy theory that I don't believe is gonna ever be a thing, but I want to mention it anyway because it's fun. So if the Horde did in fact take the body of Drevin and resurrects it, right? Or if it washed ashore and they did so, they go ahead and find Blood Prince Atheran and Thraldis, right? And then they go breach ICC, get Lanathel's body, and bring her back as a reverse council fight. So you know how she resurrected the 3 of the princes in that fight with Naxanar is merely a setback. Again, theme. But so it'd be a reverse version of that. So I don't think it's gonna ever happen, right? But it's still fun to think about. Come on. And then the final idea that people have, which I'll just get into it right now, is Kael'thas being resurrected as the new Blood King. Somehow we'd have to get that head off of a pike. I know a lot of people favor that idea. I personally, me alone, I know that there's a ton that like it, so just bear with me. I don't think it's that realistic as the whole, one of the missing Blood Princes is the new Blood King. So bear with me there, because they'd have to go get that head off of a pike. He's been decayed for so long. Maybe there's some sort of ritual of blood that can happen or whatever to bring him back. It'd be certainly interesting. But again, I think that the new Blood King is going to be either Prince Atheran or Thraldis. Alrighty, and the final block of speculation is based on that new stuff from 8.1 that's coming out. So this is all spoilers. Skip this part of the video if you do not want to be spoiled. Now, could the resurrected Night Elven forces mean something for the Sanlayn? So we've been brought to the attention of an idea that we never thought of before. They could possibly have 2 options, Night Elves and Thalassian Sanlayn. I don't believe it's plausible, personally. While it would be very cool, we've never seen it before. We've never seen Blizzard give 2 different types of race options for any sort of race. I mean, they could explore doing new things, of course, but they'd have to give a customization option for each one, and it would have to be a whole, like, twice as many, and it might be too much. But if the Kultirans get the skinny and bulky versions, which as of right this current moment, we don't know if that's going to be the case, the idea could be plausible. But I don't see that happening either, because they showed the heritage armor only on the male Kultiran. That was bulky. They could add skinny and bulky Kultiran, but who knows. And then number 2, something to also keep in mind about the 8.1 stuff. Sylvanas keeps destroying her Valkyr to do her work. She's gonna be out of Valkyr soon. I mean, I believe she has about 1 left now. And how is she going to keep her Forsaken line going if she keeps doing this? She's not. I mean, unless she gets new Valkyr, which she might, but what better way to continue the undead line, even if she's looking for new Valkyr in the meantime, than to assign some Sanlayn to turn the enemy or the fallen, you know, Thalassian forces. So I think that could be possible. I think Sanlayn can help offer a assistance in this case, and at least fix part of that problem. Again, she could be looking for the Valkyr and using the Sanlayn in the meantime. And no offense to Forsaken mains, you know, no offense intended here, but Sanlayn don't appear to rot. They revitalize themselves with the blood they consume, so by default, they're kind of better put together. Might be a little bit stronger, you know, they're not rotting in the middle of combat. And then, something I mentioned earlier in the video, but I'll bring up again, because it's 8.1 stuff, could we possibly see Sanlayn working together with the Forsaken in the upcoming Warfront? That would certainly be very cool to see, and it would confirm the fact that, oh, not all Sanlayn were killed off in that ship, which, like I said earlier in the video, doesn't make any sense, so. And that concludes the speculation video on Sanlayn. Hopefully we're going to see some really neat stuff in the upcoming patches. I know there's a ton of allied races that people want, like Vulpera and Sethrak, 2 things that I also really want, because they're awesome, come on. There's the Ogres, Machnathal, Arakoa, everything, you know, Junker Gnomes, tons of things that have come up for allied race suggestions, lots of really neat stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully we'll find out stuff during BlizzCon, you know, pretty please. But yeah, also, I wanted to mention, I am wearing the cosmetic contacts, if you want to see. They're called Berserker contacts, and yeah, so my advice for these sort of things, do not get them from just any old website or store. Okay, make sure you go through a eye doctor beforehand. I used to not do that. I used to not get these prescription contacts, and I learned recently that that can really damage your eyes. So yeah, these things are really fun and cool for Halloween though, so. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Share with me your own Sanlayn speculation and all of that fun stuff if you have something different that you'd like to bring to the table. And I've linked the Sanlayn Discord in the description below. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. Alright, bye guys!